Hello, and welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
So attention, RV travelers and tiny house wanderers, are you tired of boondocking at Walmart?
Uh-oh.
Nancy, you and I have seen it. We know about the boondockers of Walmart.
That's funny.
You know, or sometimes you pay for a campsite and then you're parked next to some loud dude who's kind of nosy. In fact, a travel friend of mine, I was watching her on Facebook. She's been traveling through Alaska. And her last night, she had this glorious trip. And next thing you know, she was in some campground. The surroundings looked beautiful, but apparently everybody was partying around her, and she was on a nature trip, so that didn't work. So enter Harvest Host. It's a company reinventing the great American road trip, and really, it's kind of like how Airbnb changed hotel space. It's very exciting, and we're very happy to have Joel-Holland join us. He's the new owner and CEO of Harvest Host, and he's joining us here on Big Blend Radio today to talk about some of his RV travel adventures, and to also tell us how Harvest Host connects RV travelers with unique campsites. And we're talking about, Nancy and I, our style, right? Wineries.
Now, see, there you go.
Farms.
We're there.
Yeah. I know we're going up to Kentucky soon on the Bourbon Trail. So now I'm thinking we need an RV.
For bourbon, alone.
Can you imagine? Like, just, go back to your RV. After, tastings, it'll be fun. But it's a nominal annual membership fee. And from what I understand on the website, which is harvesthost.com, that you don't pay for staying at these beautiful places. So very excited to have you on the show, Joel. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Nancy. That was a nice introduction. And I found myself taking some notes. I really like the description of reinventing the great American road trip. I think that's great.
That is a thing that I think, number one, people are getting back into it of all ages. It's not just families. I don't think, especially with RV travel, from what we have experienced, and just from knowing our readers and listeners, that there is a younger generation out there, whether they've refurbished a bus, taking a tiny house on the road, or an RV, and they are really looking for an authentic travel experience. And I think that's what you're doing, is this reinventing, because we get tired. I remember, Nancy, with our friends on the beach. They were in an RV park on the beach, and we got all excited to go see them, and all we wanted to do was bail, because it was like you're camping in the next door neighbor's lawn.
You're right. Well, and the biggest bummer, so I've been RVing through all the lower 48 states now with my wife, and we absolutely adore the country, and the whole reason we got into RVing was this sense of unbridled freedom. And during the days you're driving, especially through like the Southwest, I mean, you're driving, it feels like you're on a Martian, territory. You see nobody, you see nothing. It's just expanse, and it's so liberating. It feels so good. And then the whole illusion of freedom gets like crushed when you reach the campground, because like you said, they're just back to back. And so, you're parked anywhere you want. So I found this gorgeous, kind of vista looking out over farmland, not another soul around. And that to me was the freedom. And so, to end a day like that made the entire Harvest Host experience phenomenal. And to your point about nominal fee, it's just $49 a year. And so in one night of camping with a host, you make your money back, which is very, very exciting. And then the idea is you give back to the host. So while I was there, I bought some alpaca, scarves, and some soaps that one of the nuns made. And in fact, I got a massage from one of the nuns, and she was very good. So that's the idea. Yeah, it's a very cool program.
That is definitely unique when you talk about
it's like, you, instead of paying for lodging, you get to shop.
Yeah, you get to shop, and you're getting, but it's artisanal products, and you're actually seeing how America grows their food, how they make their wine. And I think that's something that is, again, goes back to that authentic experience. We're all like craving, something unique, different, but to really connect with locals.
Maybe you could go grape stomping.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I actually think there are I've seen photos. So I believe there are some hosts in our network that allow you to grape stomp. And I know last week I was at a host, and there was a husband-wife team growing grapes and making wine, and they walked me through the whole process and actually tried to teach me how to do it. So I think that's you're absolutely right. You get to come in and see this authentic part of America and look behind the curtain, which is really cool.
I volunteer to taste.
Yes, and
That's right.
I know you, Nancy. But I think what's also nice about this is that I was reading that some of the places are pet friendly, because that's another thing to think about when you're traveling, and also family friendly. But and that's each host pretty much gives a description of what you're allowed to do and not do, right, for visitors coming to stay.
Absolutely. Yep. When you search for the hosts and find one you're interested in, there's all these little icons that show you, is it pet friendly? Is it family friendly? Can you run a generator? They kind of show you exactly what the site is like. How big of a rig can you bring? Is it big rig friendly? How many spots do they have? So yeah, all that information is on the host page when you log in as a member.
This is the other thing too. I know people do the boondocking at Walmart. I'm sorry, but that's, I see them. We're in Tucson, Arizona. I see them. Every time I drive by a Walmart, I go, are they there yet? There they are, and it's there, especially in snowbird season. Our winter visitors come out here in the Southwest, and, some of the parks, I know Tucson has some great parks, but you're right. Some of the places in the Southwest, next thing you know, you're in a gravel patch. And I'm like, I mean, for us as publications, we're very picky about who we even allow on board, advertiser wise, because we want our readers and our listeners to have the best experience too. And what's neat about this with Harvest Hosts, I believe, is it's actually part of the slow travel movement. We talk about authentic travel, but this is slow travel with an experience. And you can't get that, realistically from just going to a normal RV park. Some of them are amazing, so I'm not knocking RV parks whatsoever. But this is something very unique. I was looking at the map on your website, everyone. Again, if you go to harvesthost.com, I was looking in our area, and I see that you hit like the Wilcox wine country, and there's a farm out there, and I think I know which one it could be, because the first thing I thought of was specific farms we know. I'm like, oh, they could do this. Are you actively looking for more hosts to come on board?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I think that's the biggest focus. I think that for our members to be happy, we first need to recruit and take care of the hosts. And so we have about 623 hosts in the program right now. I would love to grow that. And, I would love to see that number go up, while keeping it, with high quality hosts, of course. But, the nice thing is all the hosts that I've stayed with, I ask them, what do you think about the Harvest Host program? And they've all had very positive things to say. They say we meet very friendly people. We've made new friends. And then, of course, there's the business side of things. And every one of our members spends a little, right? Like they take some of that, $40 to $60 fee they would have been paying to that dirt patch, and they give it back and get some food and some wine and some, local products. So, yeah, so I think that the benefits of being a host are great. We have a code of conduct, which our members abide by, and we really try to drive that home so that when our members are visiting a host, they treat it like a family member or a friend. They don't come in there and create a mess, and they're not rude. And so far it's been wonderful. So yes, if you know anybody that you think we should invite to the program or is interested in being a host, please, I'm all ears.
The other part of this, beyond, someone buying the wine or the cheese or, the dates from the date farm. I saw that China Ranch. We've been there years ago out in Death Valley. When you look at the social media impact and the marketing, that's what I looked at immediately was this value of someone staying there. Next thing you know, it's on Instagram, and everyone go look at hashtag Harvest Host on Instagram. It's cool. It really makes you want to get on the road. This is really good for small businesses, to promote what they're doing, for people to be on social media. I can imagine bloggers are on the road writing about the different destinations they've been to, right? So there's a marketing and PR thing for this.
There is. I'm actually very impressed. When I was looking through, when people sign up, we ask them if they have, a blog or a website they'd like to share. And man, I think of our 8,000 members, I think 3,000 of them have very interesting blogs or travel websites of some, or Instagram accounts of some sort. And so I think you're absolutely right. It's like the perfect thing for the blogger.
Mm. And for the place, the winery. I mean, for them to get that extra blog. And that's we're going to tell all our travel writing friends, and we got to get the cooking ladies out there.
Oh yeah,
we got to get the cooking.
Love it.
I just got to recruit them on air to get them. Just like here.
I think they're perfect.
Yes, since I'm going to nudge them very soon. So the other part, when I think about all, who's traveling now, you talk about you have to have the right kind of RV, so we can't bring in our little teardrop trailer, right, or something. This has to be completely a self-contained unit. So is that people basically with their own water and their own electricity, if it's solar or another way that they're generating the electricity?
Yeah, and actually, you really don't need electricity. A lot of times when I camp, because you're really only supposed to stay at a host for one day. Some of them will invite you to stay for longer, and that's great. But the expectation is one day. And I don't even use a generator typically, because once I'm there, I'll use my propane to cook on the stove. And then I do have water in the freshwater tank and a toilet. And so I think that's the main thing, is that you have your own toilet, self-contained, a gray water tank, a black water tank, so that you're not putting upon the hosts.
Okay, so think about one overnight stay. But most people traveling are looking at going at they're road tripping. That's, you're not spending too much time in one place. And hey, the more hosts out there, the better. You can start really,
right.
Farm hopping. The other thing is, when we look at what's happening in the climate of RV travel, do you see this growing with the tiny house movement and things like that, that more and more people are purchasing RVs? And I mean, Nancy and I, we went on the road here, and we did it in South Africa for 3 years, and then in this country for 3 years, started our tour of our Spirit of America tour on a quest to visit every single national park unit. And it's grown into now we want to do all the park units and their surrounding parks and public lands, so far as state parks, county parks, because we realize the value of green space and protecting our historical, our artifacts, our landmarks. And we didn't do it in an RV. One of the reasons was looking at, we didn't want to get stuck next to, a neighbor that was like that close, but
right.
Also internet. So you think, looking ahead, do you think RV travel is increasing, and that the ability to, work on the road? Because I see a lot of bloggers out there, and I always keep asking them, like, is it going to get better for internet so we can do this?
Yes. So in fact, I think to answer your question there, I see RVing is really it's exploding right now, and the industry statistics support that. I think the industry grew 20% last year, and that was 20% more and faster than it has in history. Winnebago, shipped 30% more units last year than it ever had. And so I think that the industry as a whole is growing very quickly, and it's happening because, two generations are both getting interested at the same time. So you have, the baby boomers that are still, retiring, and like my parents' generation, my aunt and uncle just got an RV. My wife's parents just got an RV, and they come along with us, which is super fun. But young people are also getting into it. And a lot of the millennials are getting teardrops, they're getting Airstreams, they're getting these travel trailers, or conversion vans or Class Bs, and they're hitting the road. And so two sides are kind of getting interested at the same time. And I think part of the reason is, as you mentioned, being able to work on the road. And, 10 years ago, you just couldn't do it. But today, I'm able to spend, a few months a year in my RV on the road, and I work from the road, and I'm able to use my cell phone as my, pretty much my sole connection, because any RVer who's listening knows that campground Wi-Fi is all but worthless, because everyone's trying to watch movies at the same time, and it just doesn't work. But with AT&T as an example, and I think all carriers have this, but AT&T now has an unlimited plan, and it's very inexpensive. And it's not truly unlimited, but it gives you like 10 gigabytes a month before they start slowing your speed, specifically for using a hotspot. And so I tether my computer to my phone, and LTE internet is blazing fast. So I find I can go all the way across the country and almost never lose my LTE connection. So
really,
and that's a new thing. And then, you know, things like, you know, AT&T now lets you stream HBO and a bunch of other channels for free because they bought DirecTV. So each carrier has their own thing they're doing to entice subscribers, but it's to the point now where you can stream content and use the internet all for like, you know, your normal $130 a month plan. And that's pretty liberating.
Wow. So do you think, and what about satellite? I've heard about that too. You know, with that, it's going to get better and better by 2020.
I heard the exact same thing. So satellite technology to date has not been very good for internet. You know, this two-way communication is very slow. And from what I understand, there's kind of a breakthrough coming very soon that's going to make satellite internet ubiquitous, so you can get it anywhere you have, you know, sky access and fast. So I'd also heard around 2020. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because boy, that would fundamentally change the game.
I know.
It's exciting.
I keep seeing this, you know, over and over. I don't know if it's just I'm in the travel world, you know, and you know, all these travel writers and bloggers out there, but I see this getting, you know, more and more on the road. You know, look at all the musicians traveling and stuff, you know.
You know, the idea of working remotely is good for everybody.
I think it's
I'd rather do it in the forest.
Well, we're in that interesting world now where, you know, corporate America, you know, half of the employees are working from home. And so they could be on the road if they wanted. And there's so many freelancers now and independent contractors out there. With those laws are changing, everyone, heads up. But anyway, just that whole concept of people having more freedom. And I think, you know, America really wants that. They want, you know, and people want to have their individual freedom of where they work, when they work, how they work, you know, and why not do it outside a winery?
Oh my goodness, I couldn't. You're speaking my language.
Yeah. Well, this is dangerous because as soon as we found out about you, Nancy and I hopped on the website and we're like, I swear every wine time our conversation is, do we do the RV thing? Do we not? Or do we get a big blend road trip bus? No, yes, no. Oh. And then we sit there and go, no, we got to, you know, stay home and be conservative in our mind, you know. And then we saw your website and we're like, okay, that's it. Now we have to like get serious because I think you
got to do it. You know, and I'll tell you what. So I've actually been very impressed with national parks. A number of them have incredible RV hookups within the park. And so like I'm thinking back to last year, I went to the Badlands in South Dakota, and you can actually camp right in the middle of the park. And they have electricity and water and sewer. And so you're like, you look out your door and you're looking at the Badlands. It's incredible. Grand Canyon, I stayed inside the park, and you could leave your RV and be walking the South Rim within like 10 minutes. No way. So it's actually, it's very impressive that a number of the national parks actually have RV hookups, and they're pretty nice.
The parks seem to give you a little more space than a commercial campground or RV park does, and they seem to make an effort to put a row of shrubs and bushes between the spots, so you know when you open your door, you don't cling into the other person who opened their door at the same time.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yep.
Sequoia trees, giant sequoia trees in between you and the No, that's so cool. I think that's going back to, you know, the host that you're looking for, and you don't charge the hosts, right? They're free when they sign up. Okay, just wanted to put that out.
Never charge the host.
Okay, because this is all so doable and so affordable for people. I mean, this is just a win-win-win-win. You know, I'm just going to be following #HarvestHost from now on. Every day I'm going to go look to see anything more. But the type of host, you know, because I was also reading that museum, so it's not just, you know, wineries and farms, right? If, say, someone has, you know, I have a person in the back of my mind, I know, like has a restaurant, and he's up in a mountain town and he has this huge green field behind him. So he could do that, right?
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm looking at a list. I made a list yesterday. I looked through all the hosts, and I made a list of some of the different interesting types of hosts. And of course, there are wineries. We have 291 wineries. We have 34 breweries and distilleries, 164 farms. But then we have this really interesting category of museums, attractions, and restaurants. And so we have aerospace museums, we have classic car museums, we have a music hall of fame, botanical garden, heritage center, B.B. King Museum. This one I want to go to. There's one in Vermont, a farm and sugar house where they make maple products and ice cream.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and then the last couple I want to mention because I think they're so cool. We have a vineyard that's in a cave. I thought that was pretty cool. We've got a museum that's dedicated to cleaning products and vacuums, if you've ever wondered the history there. Wow. We have a museum of osteology all about skeletons.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that's cool.
Isn't that cool? And then we have a windmill museum. I mean, these are the types of unique attractions that, where do you find that stuff? I love it.
Oh, you know what? I really, really love that because a lot of these smaller museums need that exposure again. I just look at the benefit that they get from, they need the extra, traffic going in to the museum sometimes to help get grants. And then just, again, the social media thing of people going, hey, look at, selfie at the museum, selfie with the skeleton. I mean, come on. I think it's such a cool thing for museum and attractions in my mind. That's what's so dangerous about Harvest Host. Your mind starts to flip out and you're like, you want to go and get an RV right now. And I can just think of so many places that need to sign up.
We've been to a couple of old drive-in movie places.
Yeah.
That are just sitting there.
Yeah. Oh,
that's a good point. That's almost built for it because they're perfectly flat. They're usually very interesting settings. Yeah, you're right. That's smart.
Ooh, it's cool, man. That is cool.
You know where I'm thinking.
I know, but there's two. I've got two.
Yeah.
The one in Yerington, Nevada.
Yeah.
And then there's one which is a geocaching spot too. And then there's the one in 29 Palms outside Joshua Tree National Park. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yeah, I've been to 29 Palms. I camped out there when I went to Joshua National Tree. There's one RV campground in 29 Palms, and I remember there's one bar called the Virginian, and that's where we would go play pool.
And then there's another one.
Beers.
There's another one.
And Matthews and Harriet's on the other side of that little motel. There's all that.
I know. That's our wine time. We're going to sit here and make a list of everyone we know. I'm like, hello, you need to do this just so we can be set up for our RV and everybody else because. 29. We actually used to be based out of there years ago, and there's a bar behind, like in another side, that goes towards Wonder Valley, and that's how we found out about 29 Palms back in our print days. we went on detouring from Vegas where we used to print back to the mountains in San Diego where we used to live, and didn't get gas. Like we thought we were going to a lake called Amboy Lake, which is not a lake, but it's like a volcano thing. It's cool. And we just keep driving through the desert. And I'm like, okay, over the next hill, because these, there's hills on this one, we're going to be fine. And all of a sudden there's all these, homesteads that are all in ruins. And we're like, this is trippy cool. And then we found this bar and we pull over. And they had like a thrift store in the bar. They had like a dance hall in the back. And all they do all day is they sit there and drink and wait for people to show up and talk to them. It's really like people like us. It's a Star Wars.
That sounds great.
It's like a Star Wars bar. It's crazy, but it's worth. Everyone needs to go there. The Palms, the Palms Inn
in Wonder Valley.
In Wonder Valley, everyone needs to go there. There's some trippy. It's trippy, but I'm glad you got to Joshua Tree because that's a unique place, and the park itself cannot handle the amount of campers in the park in the campgrounds. So we need more people out there, and I have ideas for that.
Yeah, the Integratron.
Yep, that's it.
That's a weird place.
Okay, so Joel, this is dangerous. Okay, I'm just saying.
I love it. I think you guys are gonna, after this interview, you're gonna have to go on a little drive just to get it out of your system.
I know. So okay, so do you think we should get so we're looking. this is serious. I mean, Nancy and I have been really going on and on about this for a while, and our friends, the cooking ladies, really sparked it, and now you're not helping. And this is, I mean it in a positive way. So should we have a big blend bus, a school bus, or do you think we should get a fifth wheel with a big truck?
So, man, so I'll tell you my approach. So I went with a fifth wheel and a big truck. And I love it because it's very, you don't have to tow a car behind it, right? Like, so when I get somewhere like 29 Palms, I can drop my fifth wheel and then drive the truck all through the park. And so I remember doing some really nice off-roading through the park there, and having a nice 4x4 vehicle made that easy to do. Same thing when I went to Zion and Moab, right? Like, to be able to drop your fifth wheel and then go out in your truck, everything's accessible. Whereas if you're pulling a little smart car, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to pull a Jeep or something like that. And I'll tell you what, fifth wheels, they're great. I think the layout of a fifth wheel is fantastic. The way that you walk in, the bedroom's kind of on its own level. It makes it feel more like an apartment. They typically have nice kitchen setups, good couches. And, if you're like me and you're not a full-timer, you don't have to feel guilty about having an actual like drivable machine that was super expensive sitting in a parking lot for most of the year. You leave that, and I use my truck as a vehicle. So I'm definitely on the fifth wheel train. And then I'll send you a photo, but I recently had my fifth wheel wrapped, the entire thing, head to toe wrapped in Harvest Host branding, and it looks so awesome. So you guys could do a nice wrap job on your fifth wheel, and it would look stellar.
See, that's what we were thinking. One of our partners is Spontaneous, the song game, and Rob he created this board game. It's a song game. It's super fun, and he's kind of like us, itchy feet. Let's go, and he's got an incredible entrepreneurial story that just blows everyone's minds, like how he's made it to be the top board game. I mean, he kicked Monopoly's butt this last Christmas, which is awesome. And so he turned around, and that's it. He got a fifth wheel because he almost did the tiny house thing. He wrapped it with Spontaneous, and now he's going to start doing road reports with us on shows. And you just see him traveling around, and he even has a flag. Do you have a flag?
You know what? I'm writing that down right now. I have to have
You need a flag.
That's so cool.
Yeah. You need a flag. And so now he goes around. He's got his mascot dog, Dottie. And he goes to Nashville. Next thing you know, he's there. And so we're following him around. And he's like, he is loving it. And he entered, when he first got it, he went back home to Montana. Was it 4th of July or something? Or no, it was high school graduation thing. And he ended up in the graduation parade with his fifth wheel. He was like, why not? So
amazing.
So that's what we're thinking of doing, is taking, going on the road. I know the RV thing, it has to be the fifth wheel. That's what Nancy and I always said, because we go on stupid roads and get into stupid trouble. So we know four-wheel drive is probably a thing we need.
Yep.
But the wrapping of it, that's cool, because that's got to make it also a write-off too. If you put every sponsor on there.
It is. And I put the URL on the side, and I created a little custom URL. And as I'm driving down the road, driving down the highway, if I see another RV, I drive really slowly past them and like get in front just for a little bit. And at the end of the day, I go on Google Analytics to see how many people visited the website because of the RV, and it works. I actually get traffic.
Oh, that's it. Let's go, Nancy. That is it. Yeah, that's it.
You will read.
Okay. We like this. All right. So this is all right. Our wine time tonight is going to be really different.
But now, do you think that we could handle it?
Yes. Oh my goodness. If you can drive a car, you can drive a fifth wheel. I mean, that's the other thing I like about fifth wheeling is you're just driving the truck. The fifth wheel comes in line, and mine's pretty long. Mine's 33 feet long, but you get used to that pretty quickly. It's just like anything else. You start to just get a feel for it, and you just make wider turns, and you take it nice and slow, and it's honestly super simple.
Right on. We can do this, Nancy. I've driven.
You can definitely do this.
We lived in Africa. We could do anything.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, have you seen some of those like Unimog vehicles they have in Africa? They're like RVs that can drive through mud and rivers and like take bullets and take like cougar attacks. I mean, some of those things look pretty amazing.
We didn't have, we had a van, those vans, and
just think of everywhere we went, and we didn't even have 4-wheel drive.
We thought we had 4-wheel drive. Nancy's
we did.
An epic driver. We are good drivers. I did the Baja 500 in a Toyota Corolla, so I just want to tell people. I had no idea I was doing it, but I did it, and people bikers would drive up to me like, "You crazy women!" I'm like, "Yeah." but Nancy, in Kenya and South Africa, we did a 3-year tour in South Africa and Kenya, did all the national parks and all of that. And when you get stuck in the mud over there, it is not funny because there are crocodiles and there's hippos and there's snakes. But the thing is, there's always someone to help you get across, and it's a whole. If you ever want to learn how not to spin your wheels and get stuck in the mud, you need to go there and get it over with real quick. You'll learn fast because you don't want to get stuck over there. But
I love it.
All right, so I've got to add, one last thing. I saw, okay, so you're in America with Harvest Hosts, right, in Alaska and some of Canada, but I saw that it looked like you have some hosts on the Guadalupe wine trail near Ensenada. It looks like that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. We have a broader reach than you would think, and so I'm pulling up the map here, but I think you're right, and I think that I was actually impressed. We have a number of Canadian members who really love the program and have helped expand in Canada, which is great.
So that's cool. So do you see this ever going global, like in Europe?
It's a great question. In fact, Don and Kim, the founders, I think that they were inspired to create this program after coming back from an international trip, because I think this concept is big in places like New Zealand, where you go and boondock with farms and individuals. So, yeah, I think it's probably. I would love to see this program worldwide. I think it's just super exciting.
South Africa and Australia. I think South Africa. I know for all the wineries. There's so many farms. There's and gardens. That's the other thing. All the botanical gardens. And gardens. There's see. Okay, I'm going to have to put a list together.
I love it. You guys can become my. If you can help me recruit, we can work together and find a way. I can find a way to help supplement some of your. I'll take care of all your gasoline and all your expenses on the road. You just have to help me get hosts.
Okay.
Oh,
watch it, dude.
Sold.
I'm serious.
Be careful,
but we do. We will. We will. You'll see a partnership soon. It'll be like, here, Harvest Host. Here. Come on, let's go.
I love it. And I think that's the best way to grow the program.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing, because people can. That's what we're thinking of, like renting one just to see what it's like, and just to get our feet wet. So what about people doing that? I mean, that's international travelers. I know in LA, there's some company that has like Airstreams and everything that you can rent. So that could work, right, for people just flying into the country or people are just renting an RV.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, we're welcoming and friendly to renters. Surprisingly, not a lot of renters use the program. I was looking through our statistics, and it tends to be mostly RV owners and a lot of people who do a lot of RVing. But I think that's just an opportunity for us to help get the word out a little more, because if you're renting a unit and trying it out, I want people to have the best experience possible when they are testing the waters. And so that comes with Harvest Hosts for sure.
This is cool, man. I just love the whole win-win-win thing. And it's just such a good, solid program. I love it. So, okay, last question, road trip time. We always like this question. So if you're going to take a road trip now, where would you go? Okay. Road trip music. I know you're in Colorado, so you're going to start in Colorado. Where would you go? Yep. And you can take anyone in the world, alive or passed on, that you want to spend time with and kind of suck the knowledge out of their brain, or you just want to hang out with them. Who would you take?
Yeah. All right. So first, I think for destination, for the last couple of years, I've been trying to pull together a trip to Alaska, and you can. It's a long drive, but there's the road to Alaska, the highway, so it's quite nice. The photos I've seen, I used to follow the Wens when they were RVing around, and their trip to Alaska, the boondocking opportunities between these aqua blue waters and wildlife. Alaska looks amazing. So I would go to Alaska. probably, go up to Fairbanks, and I would invite Elon Musk to go with me. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, and that might sound a little cliche because obviously he's a big deal and everyone knows. But the reason I would invite him is that I'm very impressed with the way he thinks. He has this like concept of first principles thinking, which is you can say, how does this work? And instead of just reciting what everyone already knows, he stops, completely deconstructs his thinking about it, and comes at it from a totally fresh perspective. And this is the reason he was able to build SpaceX, right? Like he knew nothing about the space exploration industry. That was NASA's thing. And he came in, he goes, it's a benefit that I know nothing. I wonder why they don't reuse rockets, right? And like that was something that NASA had never thought about doing, reusing rockets to save millions of dollars. And he did it. And he just did it because he said, why wouldn't you do it this way? And I think it'd be fun to have him on a road trip because as I'm driving down the road, I'm always looking at like different businesses or different like things going, I wonder why that's like that, or I wonder how you build that. Or I was driving by an RV dealership yesterday and it had hundreds of units on the lot. And I was like, I wonder how they decide when to start doing sales to try to clear all that inventory and how that all works. And someone like Elon would have this like totally fresh perspective. So yeah, long-winded answer, but I think he'd be a pretty fun road trip mate.
I'm totally with you on that because I think why Nancy and I are both entrepreneurs is we can't stand working for someone else who says, don't fix what ain't broke. Don't, it's always been done this way. It's the worst saying in the world. It's always a different way to do something.
We want it to be cookie cutter.
Yeah, no. There's cookie cutter, and then you have to shake up the cookie jar again. You can get it to that level in a business, but then, hey, why not have marshmallows with chocolate chips? That's
yes, exactly. Amazing. Why not?
I know. Now I want a chocolate chip cookie.
One of our chefs that comes and does interviews with us, every time he's talking about food, we start with, well, could you put this with it? Could you put that one? He's like, well, why not?
Yeah, why not? That's it. Just try it. Just do it. I love that. And that's what I think travel does, is it really opens our eyes to new ways of doing things and new perspectives. We limit our thoughts so much as human beings. We really do. Okay, but now the other thing that opens minds is music. So what is the road trip music?
Ooh, man. So I mean, XM radio is the best thing for a road tripper, right? Because you never lose connection. And so I'm just thinking of the channels I like most on there. Right now, I go through moods. So sometimes a little country music if I'm driving through the South, right? XM 61. Sometimes right now I'm in a phase for 90s music, and Channel 17 has all these great throwbacks to bands like Chumbawamba. And I don't know, something about the 90s is like the new 80s right now.
Yeah.
and I've had a ton of fun listening to that. And I love the Beatles, and there's actually Beatles radio, Channel 18. So, the Beatles is always something about that, like upbeat, but peaceful and friendly, happy music just kind of puts me in the mood.
I dig this. Now, I just, the whole conversation about Elon Musk and the music thing, Nancy and I were talking about this the other day because music is now, it's either, it's streaming or you're getting into vinyl. CDs are going out the window. They make good wall art, but you can hang them up so that birds don't fly in your window. But what I would like to see is mobile vinyl. So I'm just saying, when you talk to Elon Musk, can you ask him to make a mobile record player? Wouldn't
that be hilarious, and actually probably pretty intriguing if the new Tesla comes out and it has this huge record player built into the dashboard?
Yeah, or just or even for an RV, right? We want a record player for an RV. Back in the day, old school days, you'd camp and bring out the old gramophone, and you'd sit outside with your cocktail. Like these
How old are you?
No, but it's cool. It's cool. I want a record player outside. I would like to play vinyl on my camping trip. And so I'm just saying, someone's got to do that.
You've seen Out of Africa too many
times. I know, but I'm just saying. So when you talk to him, just saying.
I will. I think we're going through this whole like throwback period right now. Throwback to fresh foods, to local farms, to small businesses. and high quality. And I think that's why a lot of people have started getting back into vinyls, is that it is the best quality, no doubt.
Exactly.
So I think you're onto something. As funny as it sounds, I think you actually are onto something.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm going to drink another glass of wine then tonight. Like that. Joel, it has been such a pleasure having you on the show. We're very excited about Harvest Hosts, and I know now we're like our brain is buzzing. And
I'm not gonna say boondocking anymore.
No more boondocking.
No, it's wine docking.
It's wine docking. Yeah, farm docking. I like that. I like it. No, but it really is part of that slow travel part, and I think this is exactly it. It's that quality, getting down to a real experience and take a deep breath. I mean, the world has gone crazy, and you don't have to. You just don't have to.
I like
you can
that.
say no. Yeah, you just can get out on the road and do it. You know, it's the best thing in life. We got to give a shout out to our sponsor, and we want every single member of this organization to know about Harvest Hosts.
For sure.
The International Food, Wine, and Travel Writers Association, we call them IFTWA. We do radio shows with them every single month. The second Friday, we interview different travel writers. And they are a global network of journalists who cover the hospitality and lifestyle fields and wineries. And they promote the people that promote them. So go to ifwtwa.org if you're a travel writer, a blogger, a photographer, an author, or a CVB or a destination marketing organization. They work with you especially. So ifwtwa.org. Don't forget, Big Blend Radio airs Sunday through Friday. You can go to bigblendradio.com for the schedule. You can listen as shows go live, or you can listen on demand anytime. All the links are there for all the different outlets. And we're going to close with some music. So this isn't on vinyl, though. It's on internet radio. Joel, this is a song for you. It's called Travel Song, and we're talking about 29 Palms. This is from our friend Misha Shellhoff, total traveler, and he's actually based out of Joshua Tree. So there you go. And you go to mishamusic.com, and he's also got 2 Airbnb sites. So I think he should open it up to some RVs as well.
He probably could, and so could somebody else we know.
That's right.
That's
right. All right. Thanks so much, Joel. Here it is, Travel Song.